All right. Hello, everybody. This is the core admin update for first one of season 2. I'm here with Jarrett and Darian, and we're going to fill you in on everything. We're going to fill everybody in on what's going on, what's going to be different in core season 2. So, Jarrett, if you want to start us off.
Oh, yeah. You showing the schedule right now?
Yep. Let's share my screen.
See an airplane flying over.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry about that. Sorry about the airport.
Yeah, I'm just going to share my screen here.
And again, those for those who are just joining us right now, we are about to show the core season 2 schedule.
All right, so here it is, right in front of you, Jared. If you want to start reading off.
Yeah. So just a little bit of context. So the ones with the numbers are the points races. Ones with the dash without a number are the exhibition kind of races. Then there's the where the race will be, or the race name, the amount of laps, the date, and the time that they'll be at Eastern Standard Time. So starting off, the Clash, Duels, and Daytona 500, or in this case 250, are all going to be in the same weekend. It'll be a triple header. So Friday will be the Clash, just a 40 lapper with all the pole winners from last season. So that should be a fun one. Then the Duels will
Wait,
be.
hold on. Timeout. It's not showing. It's not showing the schedule. You got to click on. No, you have to click on yourself. It's not.
Wow, Tim. Wow. Okay, big goof.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, all right. Hold on. Let me see. Now it's showing. Okay, go ahead.
All right, let's restart this. So, okay, the one with numbers, that's the point race. Which race it is? Dash is a non-points race. Then it's the race it will be, whether it shows the name of it like the Clash or the track like Daytona, Richmond, whichever. Then the laps, then the date, and then the time, Eastern Standard Time that it will be at. So starting off, like I was saying, that we'll have a triple header weekend with Friday having the Clash. That'll be 40 laps at the pole winners from last year on November 22nd. Then November 23rd, that Saturday, will be the Daytona Duels. Each of them be 21 lap races, with that being 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock respectively. And then the reason they're a little farther apart is that way that on the live stream, whichever announcer we have, we'll be able to interview a few people from whichever was the last race, and then a driver or two can jump in for the broadcast. And then we go into the points races. So Daytona would be that Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And I think a lot of you probably noticed that we're going from 25% races to 50 this year. So that was something that was really requested. I put out a lot of questions and polls during the off season. That was the number one request, was make the races longer. So we did that. After that would be Richmond. That would be the next Sunday. And then we go to what the majority of the days for races will be, which is Thursday night. So starting the 5th, we'll have then Homestead, Sonoma, Martinsville, and then that Sunday, Las Vegas. For the week of Christmas, more or less, we'll take that off of points racing. That'll be for the All-Star sort of week. Again, since it'll be non-points, so it won't be a thing where drivers have to be there. That way, with Christmas and everything going on, I know that would be tough for a lot of guys. But what we have is the Open, which is 38 laps, and then we have a full truck Eldora race for the All-Star, 150. Last year's race was really short. I remember being in the booth and just being like, wow, seeing how Heat 3 didn't show you what lap it was on the broadcast or the spectator view. And I was just like, wow, we're already at 15 to go, and we just got started. So made that a little longer. But the All-Star race will have all the winners from last year who have returned to the Core League. And then the Open will be basically anyone who hasn't won either last year or the first 6 races this year. And something really cool that we're thinking about doing, and what we're going to be doing, is we'll have all the guys that are winners. They'll be in the All-Star race. And then the people who finish first and second in the Open will automatically be in. And then what we're going to start up once we hit right before the first weekend with the Speed Week, kind of, we're going to start up a fan vote. Basically, you just put in a vote who you would want into the All-Star race. And from there, you just sort of, you just keep voting. If that person wins, they get taken out. Next highest person in votes gets in. and so on and so forth. But we thought that'd be a pretty good idea because there's a lot of bigger names that didn't get a win last year who will be in this Open if they don't get a win in the first 6 this year. There's like Eric Estep, there's Black Flags Matter, there's Joseph Lombard, Kamikaze Games, just to name a few.
And the Iceberg.
Yeah, and even me. So we want to do that. Then for the last race of 2019, December 29th, we'll do Kansas. Hopefully we'll do the night race for that one more than likely. And then the halfway point will be Bristol. We're thinking Bristol will be a bit better this year with everything we put in place with practice races and everything should be good. So that'll be the first race of 2020. And then for the second half, the run to the championships we think is going to be a really good and fun one. Watkins Glen and Indianapolis. Indianapolis and Kansas and Las Vegas and Sonoma so far, and Richmond are the ones who have been added. And then we go from Indianapolis to Michigan. You might wonder, wow, that's a 2:00 race. It's on a Monday. That is Martin Luther King Day. Most people have that day off of work, and pretty much everybody has that day off of school. So we figured that since a lot of our audience is, working and in school at that point, and they'll have time off, why not put on a good race for them? We think that this year's Michigan race will be much better than last year's, both of them. We got a lot more, like I said, we got a lot more precautions taken in place and a lot more order in the league than we did in only our second week running. But from there, we then get really fast into our run to the championship. The last 5 races, all pretty good tracks, even a brand new track. But after Michigan, we go then to Chicagoland. That'll be a Friday night race. I believe our last Friday night race of the year. And then on the next Thursday, Dover. That is the last of the new tracks that we've added in. Then Auto Club is the third to last race the following Thursday. Then the following Tuesday, we're going to Talladega. Now, people might wonder, why are you doing Talladega on a Tuesday? It's because at that point in the year, we're leading in with the dual races will be on Thursday, truck race on Friday. Can't do it Saturday with the Xfinity and everything going on, and Daytona takes up Sunday. And Wednesday, we have the podcast, and we just don't want a conflict of interest. So you get basically from Tuesday to Sunday, one huge speed weeks on YouTube and everywhere else. But it leaves a 9-day gap to really, push the championship race. It'll be Atlanta again, 7 p.m. Eastern time, February 20th. And then the next week, the Core Pro Bowl. That's just, haven't picked a track yet. Haven't picked really anything for it. We're going to work on that throughout the off season. But basically with the Core Pro Bowl, it's the top 10 guys in points and just as one final send-off for the 2019-2020 season. So that's the schedule. Oh, one other thing. I know we'll get in depth a little more with this later. The dual races, we're sort of going to do something that's a little up, like newer NASCAR. I know a lot of this we've done is throwback with like Richmond being the second race, Atlanta being the finale. But for the duels, basically the top 3 guys get points. First gets 5th, second gets 3rd, or second gets 3, and third gets 1 point. That's something that's both old and new, and we just figured, even though not, some people get points, it still counts as a non-points race. Put that in quotations there, just because a majority of the field won't. But it's something that just to add a little more incentive to those duels. But really, all around, everyone wanted a few things with the schedule. They asked for a longer schedule. Sorry, we could not produce a 36 race schedule. It's not feasible with our time. And they wanted longer races. So, we did 16 races, longer races. A few tracks you guys wanted were Richmond and Dover and Kansas. So we added those in. We really took a lot of what you guys had asked for with the schedule into account with this. We changed it up from Fridays just because a lot of people, both in the league, around the league, and people who watched it, people got stuff going on Fridays. So the majority of the races on Thursdays or Sundays, just so, it's better for everybody involved. But hopefully you guys like it, because so far, most people that we've ran by it who are in the league seem pretty satisfied as well with it.
Yeah, I'm also seeing in chat really quick. A lot of fans seem to be satisfied with this as well. It's going to be very different, and I'm especially excited about the races being increased to 50%. That was basically a lot of complaints and stuff where the races were too short, not only from the fans but from the competitors as well. So great change.
All right, so that should be it with this schedule. I think we should move on.
Yep.
All right, so getting into a few roster changes coming in next year. So currently being added to Core Season 2, Jake Baskinger. He raced at Atlanta last year in the 42. Nobody's number or ride is really confirmed at the moment, but all we know is he'll be in. Also being added is Drive-Thru. We think he's going to be a really, really good addition to the series. Being removed from the roster is Seed Games and JC 1424.
Yeah, JC had quit after last year. He said it was it after Atlanta, and then in light of stuff that's been going on today, it seems that it's going to be it for JC 1424 in here, our Talladega winner. But we do have some pretty good guys coming on too, like you said with Jake and Drive-Thru. So, yeah.
Addressing the chat, someone asked, "Is Michael Marutz running the full season right now?" In terms of some of these people, we're not sure who's going to be full time or part time. That will be available as we get closer to season 2. So October, we should know who's going to be full time and who's going to be part time.
Yeah, so this is all very we're all in the early process of redoing the roster, and we also have a ton of new potential prospects that we're currently recruiting and looking at. So just have to wait and see what happens.
Another thing, just addressing this general question, I've gotten a lot of how am I going to be able to join season 2 of Core. Just want to remind everybody that it's invite only, and a good way to get invited is make sure you're making content, getting views, sub count up, because we'd love to have new faces in here, a lot of new faces around the community. So
yes, the requirement for that, can I say that really quick? The requirements for it?
Sure.
Okay. So basically the requirement to be eligible to be in the Core League, you have to be a consistent content creator in the NASCAR YouTube community. And also you also have to have a threshold of 1,000 subscribers. Now that doesn't necessarily just have to be YouTube, but what else it could be is that you could also have 1,000 followers, whether it's on Instagram or whether it's on Twitter as well. So we're going to expand that a little bit more. I feel like this gives the entire community as a whole more motivation to get out there and make the best content they can. And hey, you can eventually be, eligible to be in Core someday. So good luck.
Yeah. Gator with the roast on me in chat. Big rip. All right. So, another thing that you might have seen recently, we're going to move on from that. Another exciting new thing we're doing is we're partnering up with Griffdog to help with the Summer Showdown. Now, everything is preemptive. We don't know details, none of that. We're going to figure that out. But we are doing the Summer Showdown come, late July, somewhere around there. And that should be a very fun thing to do.
Yes, and most of the NASCAR YouTube community helped him out with this 2018 Summer Showdown. I got to say that was a real blast helping him out, doing the little podcast thing for his own race and stuff, and it was very exciting to watch and stuff. Unfortunately, he's pretty much done with the NASCAR Racing 2003 videos he used to make that he's well known for, and I feel really honored just to have him reach out to us and say, hey, could you guys do the 2019 Summer Showdown, but on, NASCAR Heat 3. So can't wait.
All right. So moving on from that, unless somebody else wants to talk anything.
I think we're good.
All right. So going into new restart procedures, cautions, we're going to be doing that a little bit differently this year. Jared, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So what we're basically doing is just banking on, more than likely the cautions are still going to be as wonky as they were in Heat 3. Hopefully, I think I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely hoping that it is better. But we're not banking on that. We know that there was a lot of problems last year where the whole field would ping pong and crash and there wouldn't be a caution, but then two people would spin on the apron and a caution will come out. And restarts with people with, it just was it was a mess. So this year we're going to be looking more towards manual cautions. We'll basically, for cautions, race back to the line, which I think a lot of people will be cool with. And that sort of goes along with what we're doing with more of a throwback in our league. On top of that, then the next time by, everyone slows down on the backstretch. Granted, on bigger tracks, on smaller tracks like Martinsville or Bristol, we might have to take an extra lap or two compared to, a Talladega. But let's just say for normal tracks, get everyone stacked back up on the backstretch, then have everyone pit, go around. Just because of all the issues that people can have with restarts and stuff, what we've decided to do is we're going to have a race control who calls out cautions, who calls out the restarts and whatnot. We'll do more than likely single file restarts. It worked for us a lot in testing, better than double file. Single file at least for the lead lap guys, and then down low would be lap cars, similar to how NASCAR used to do it from about 2009 on back. And then with that, it also brings up the whole deal with waiver rounds, lucky dogs. There won't be any lucky dogs, but there will be waiver rounds. So if people are a lap down, they stay out. We'll just have them come back around. They can't pit under that caution, as I stated earlier. With just the problem of we don't want the leader to be the fifth or sixth car in line and have to deal with that. And then if there's problems and all that BS. Let's see. Am I missing anything else with that, really?
No, I think you covered everything.
And if the game is good, is good this time around with restarts, obviously we'll be, very open to using that, because with this and with manual cautions, it pretty much means that, there won't be green, white checkers. So if there's a caution, in the last lap or two, that's it. You're racing back to the line for the win. And from there, it's just that it ends the race, which we'd want a green, white checker for sure. I think that's something all of us would want. But if it means if we have to sacrifice that for the rest of the race running well, so be it. And then on top of that, just so we don't stack people up, everyone is required to do manual. A few of us did automatic last year, and it caused some problems. Mm-hmm. So two of those people are in there. Let's not name names though.
Me.
But, yeah.
Oh, I started using it now. So
but yeah. So we're doing manual, no custom setups, just presets, all that good stuff. Just trying to get everything to be as smooth and everyone to be on the same page and whatnot. So a lot of changes with that coming.
And I think it's just very innovative too, because I know we had a lot of problems and stuff with cautions last year, especially at tracks such as Daytona, where we had a couple of big ones and the caution didn't come out, but then for Michigan, the caution came out every single time, so it was very inconsistent. We feel like we can handle it from this front, and we can manage it ourselves. So can't wait.
Yeah, it's a change that everybody's pretty excited for behind the scenes, just because we'll avoid cautions coming out every lap and wasting away the race. So on to the next change. You have a small point system change, nothing too big, but Jared, if you want to again go in depth with that.
We're gonna have playoffs. No, I was playing.
No, kidding. Okay, so yeah, we're still doing the full season. All kidding aside, we're still doing the full season. But now I'll read off really quick. We're keeping the points that were awarded for each position the same. So with that would be 21 for the leader, then 17 for second, 15 for third, 13 for fourth, 11 for fifth. And then we just go down 1 point until 15th on back gets 1 point each. Also, for most of the bonus points, we're keeping it the same. You lead a lap, you get a bonus point. Did that last year. Most laps led, you get a bonus point. Did that last year. And the pole sitter will still get a bonus point. We did that last year. One of the small tweaks we're making to it is instead of the first lap lead getting a bonus point as well, like we did last year, we're going to switch that to the halfway leader. So basically, it gives someone an incentive, maybe on a long fuel run, to stretch that fuel and stay out just that extra lap. Who knows? But it felt a little more fair because it was a lot where the pole sitter basically knew he was going to get 3 bonus points on the first lap. Winning the pole, and then if he came around the little lap, that's 2 more bonus points there. It just sort of opens it up more for people this coming year. And then also, we did last year where once you clinched the most wins, you got 2 bonus points. What if won that after Talladega? It just, with how it all played out, he got 2 bonus points there. We're switching that just a little bit, adding another point to that, so plus 3 points if you clinch most wins. And I think, as we saw last year, that would have made a huge difference. If we had that in place last year, What If would have tied Dale Reynolds, and that would have given him the championship. So big change there. And then, as I stated earlier, the duels. If you win a duel, you get 5 points. Second gets 3. Third gets 1. Then everyone else was there. But just small changes like that, just to try and iron out some of the issues we had last year with all of it. We'll post. So, for instance, for some races like Watkins Glen will have 45 laps. We'll pick whether it's lap 22 or 23 they have to lead, whichever. We'll update everyone on that as we move forward. But yeah, we figured the point system for the most part was one of the least of our problems, except for counting laps. That's what we got race control for. So we figured probably shouldn't change that too much.
Mm-hmm. Just keep it old school. That's the way we like it.
All right. So gonna move on from that. So another new thing we're doing, just because everybody has completely missed racing with each other. July 11th, we are going to have a 100% race at Auto Club. That's going to be something fun. Just, to get everybody back together and, kind of test out some of these new changes, make sure we iron out everything before the season begins. That should be it.
And it's also basically a send off for NASCAR Heat 3. Basically, it'll always be known as the first ever game that the Core League had ran on, no matter how good or bad it is. So we wanted to do that, and also just wanted to also try out some new things like maybe manual cautions, that sort of thing, and also put in some potential prospects as well.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. We named a few with Jake, and drive through coming in and stuff. But
there's so much more though.
Yeah, at the same time, there's a lot of other people we've talked to, and it's, it might be a pretty big field, but we think that with the people we're having come in, that it should be a pretty good show. And Auto Club last year was just so fun with the draft and with everyone staying together. It was what we wish the Michigan race today was. Everyone was side by side. You could pass people at will, and we figured what would be a better place to do than that. There weren't many glitch problems or internet problems. It just, everything lined up pretty well for that track. So we figured that everybody watching would have a good time with that one.
All right. So that's going to be everything. We're going to go into a Q&A session. Just look at the chat and, get to ask a few, questions so we can answer. It should not be 100% New Hampshire. Incorrect.
Oh, God.
Dale, it'd be Pocono.
Yeah.
Adam Whitefish asks, will the 100% race be streamed? Yeah, it will be on the Core channel.
Yep, only the Core channel too. I don't think anyone else will be able to stream, just like, if you're in the Core race. That's another change we forgot to mention. This year we're going to try and to sort of build up the Core channel's sub count and view count. Only the Core channel will be broadcasting the live flag to flag Core races for season 2.
No, that also doesn't mean that there won't be driver's perspective. Just like, for instance, what guys like I know Soundhead did last year and a few others. Basically, is you will be able to release it after. It's just to get everyone together. We have different plans of how the race control is going to help the broadcast. That way, stuff is much more clear and concise with our commentators, but we should be putting a lot better product on the table with the core channel in general.
Now here's the first question I wanted to answer. Shane asked, "What happened to the radioactives?" Well, it's kind of a behind the scenes thing. I'm not going to get into full detail about that, but the guy we had unfortunately did not. He wasn't able to finish all of them in time towards season's end. But for season 2, we're going to do our damn best to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Who's going to be announcer this year? We don't have any commentator currently lined up to broadcast this year, except Jarrett. Jarrett should be commentating.
Well, depends. It all depends on what we line up. Because I do want to race some, but I don't know if I'm going to race the whole thing. That's just sort of something that'll work itself out the closer we get. But we do have some people lined up that we're going to talk to and see. There's a lot of good people in this community that that aren't going to be racing, but are really good at commentating. And I guess opening it up here, that's sort of a way, if you want, people are asking, how do I get into the core league? Well, maybe not as a driver, reaching the threshold, but we don't have any threshold really for a commentator except don't get stage fright and just describe what's going on and try and stay as professional as possible. So I guess in that way, if you are a relatively good commentator, maybe record yourself during the 100% race and just sort of send that to us and, or something like that. We can definitely review people and have people commentate over maybe private races and stuff like that. So if you want to commentate and you think that you'd be a good commentator, that's, I guess that's a way you can get into core.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another question, Blue Jimmy 48 fan. His question is, any other new content coming from the core channel? Well, now this time I also have access to it. So to sort of hype up the season, I will be doing my version of championship seasons, good seasons and bad seasons, recapping season 1, leading up to season 2 this fall. So it'll be uploaded exclusively on the core series channel. So be on the lookout for that.
And then on top of that, we'll also be doing these, not every Monday, but every 2 weeks or so, every bi-weekly, or maybe, every few weeks, we'll be having these admin updates where we'll lay out what stuff has changed or what stuff has been set in stone. Even if that just means, hey, X, Y, and Z drivers have confirmed they'll be in or not in. We want to keep you guys more informed. We realized a lot last year, especially towards the end of the year, is that people were in the dark. Half the people didn't know what the points were. Half the people didn't know who was even driving except for their favorite guys. And we want you guys to be as in depth with it, I guess, as possible. So, we'll be working on that. We'll be working on stuff for the website and get that up and running better and stuff. And then on top of that, before the races each week, we'll also have preview shows, stuff like that. And maybe a person will jump on, one of the admins will jump on, do a stream and recap whatever happened during the week, even if it means there's recapping 2 races in that week. But we got a lot more stuff planned for the core channel this year. And from this point on, the focus is on, the 100% race, obviously, the stuff with the showdown, but first and foremost on season 2.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of new exciting stuff coming in terms of content. We learned a lot of things over the process of core season 1 that we're gonna make sure we learn from, and season 2 we're just gonna be back in better than ever. So really excited to get into it.
All right, so I think that'll just about do it for the first edition of the admin update, correct? Or is there anything else?
Any more questions?
Looking through. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't see any.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm Caleb Hoffman, along with Jarrett Lundberg and Darian Gilliam. We'll see you guys